Can you exercise too much? This is the question that we are going to be talking about today. Now, I think, yes, you absolutely can, but as always, there's a few caveats and we need a little bit of explanation. So we all know that exercise is good for you, right? It helps with weight loss, boosts mood, and strengthens your heart. But is there such a thing as too much exercise? The short answer is yes. And in this video, we are going to dive deep into why you can overdo it and how that may affect your body. Stick around, because by the end of this, you might just rethink that twice a day, 7-day a week workout routine that you might be planning, thinking you're going to lose weight and get healthy. Let's start with the basics. Exercise is a cornerstone of good health. There are countless studies that show that regular, moderate activity exercise reduces your risk of chronic diseases, improves insulin sensitivity, and boosts your mental health. But more isn't always better. Overtraining can in fact lead to a condition known simply as overtraining syndrome, where the body is no longer able to recover properly between sessions. This can result in chronic fatigue, a weakened immune system, and increased risk of injury. Now, I have had this before when I did a pretty excessive training, but I recovered fairly quickly, thankfully. But it's more than just physical fatigue, and it can sometimes take even years to overcome. When you exercise too much, particularly in high-intensity routines, you place a large amount of stress on your body. Your cortisol levels shoot up, and cortisol, as many of you guys probably know, is your body's main stress hormone, and chronically elevated cortisol can have disastrous effects, particularly to the muscle that you might be trying to build. Too much cortisol for too long can lead to muscle breakdown, impaired fat metabolism, and worsen insulin resistance, something I see regularly in my clinic. So if you're trying to build muscle and lose fat, too much exercise might be causing you a problem. This is often combined with too much of a caloric deficit, people trying to drop their calories too much, leading to this overtraining syndrome, loss of muscle mass and gaining fat. Here's something most people don't really realize though. Excessive training can also lead to compensatory eating, where you start craving more food, usually high in sugar, because your body is desperately trying to refuel. To be honest, I think I might be having this at the moment. I've been pretty much pounding the weights for the last couple of weeks, and I really just want to eat all the time. But I'm not being drawn to sugar. I'm actually just wanting to eat protein all the time. I feel like I might be heading into overtraining syndrome at the moment, so I'm actually just going to back off a little bit. Anyway, back to the story. Moderate exercise, we know, lowers insulin resistance and improves blood sugar control, but excessive endurance training or weightlifting without proper rest does exactly the opposite. A study published in 2007 found that high levels of intense exercise can actually increase inflammation, which can lead to metabolic and cardiovascular issues. We know inflammation is a leading cause, or potentially cause, big association of chronic diseases, including things, of course, like cardiovascular disease. Overexercising can also weaken your immune system, making you more susceptible to infections and chronic fatigue. Research on elite female athletes found that high training loads without adequate recovery increased their stress hormone levels, which caused prolonged recovery from even minor illnesses. So if you find yourself constantly getting sick after working out, this might be your body telling you to just dial it down a little bit, that you might be overtraining. Another critical issue with overtraining impacts your hormones, like your sex hormones, like testosterone. For men particularly, excessive exercise can lead to a decrease in testosterone, which can affect everything from mood to muscle mass, and certainly weight problems and mental health. I see this all the time in my clinic, which is why I started doing private TRT for men as well. For women, of course, overexercise can disrupt the menstrual cycle, particularly due to reduced estrogen levels, leading to problems like infertility or potential osteoporosis later on in life. This is why recovery is actually just as important as the workout itself, and it's really important to take a day off here and there. Sleep is also impacted. Overtraining often leads to poor quality sleep, which ironically further hinders recovery. It's not really ironic. A study of elite athletes found that poor sleep combined with elevated cortisol levels not only worsens recovery, but also increases stress, creating this vicious cycle. And if you're training hard and not getting enough rest, you're setting yourself up for long-term damage. So really importantly, how do you know if you're overdoing it? Well, you can look out for these signs. Number one is chronic muscle soreness that just doesn't seem to go away. Number two is increased heart rate. Number three would be constant fatigue. And number four would be a vast decrease in performance. If you experience these things, take a break and make it a decent break. Don't just break for a day. You might need to actually break for a week or even longer to avoid going deeper and deeper into that overtraining syndrome. The key thing here really is balance. You don't need to be crushing it in the gym 7 days a week. Studies really consistently show that about 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week, like walking or light strength training, really walking doesn't do that much to be honest, is more than enough for most people. And let's face it, it's probably more than what most people are doing anyway. And rest days aren't just for the weak, they are absolutely crucial for proper recovery. Can you exercise too much? Absolutely. Exercise smarter, not harder. If you want to learn more about how to optimize your lifestyle, nutrition, and fitness, of course, head over to themeatmedic.com. If you aren't already subscribed, join the community where we dive deep into topics like this every week. Until next time, guys, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live.